Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome to our revision of the Mathematics N1 question paper that was written in July 2020. We are continuing to look at question 4. Now, we have looked at the previous question 1, 2, and 3. I will encourage you to grab hold of the lessons so that you can get some strategies on how those questions were approached. So in this particular question, it says, now we're looking at equations. It says question number 4.1, we are solving for x. So now equations are one area whereby you can actually score yourself some good marks. So this question is 3 marks, as you can see, and it is 4.1.1. It says we need to solve for x. So if I can actually make it a little bit bigger. So with this, I'm supposed to solve for x. So what is needed is for me to first open the bracket. As you can see, I'm given 2x into this x minus 1. So I need to open this particular bracket. After I've opened the bracket, the next important thing I need to do is to collect my like terms. So if I open this bracket, remember the 2x must multiply the x, and the 2x again must multiply the negative 1. So if you say 2x times x, I'm going to get 2x squared, because they are now 2, and then 2x times minus 1 is negative 2x. So it's saying 2 times minus 1, and the negative there, it is going to affect the 2x. And then after that, I have got minus 2x squared plus 5 is equal to negative 7. As I said, I need to collect my like terms. As you can see, the 2x squared and the 2x squared are the same. So I will have 2x squared minus 2x squared and then minus 2x is equal to. So now what I need to do is, you can see I've got 5. The 5 must jump the equal sign to join the number 7. But when it jumps the equal sign, it will change from positive to become a negative. Remember, when it jumps the equal sign. So it's minus 7 and minus 5. Now 2x squared minus 2x squared will give you a 0. It's saying 2 minus 2. So what you're left with is negative 2x is equal to, now negative 7 minus 5, it is minus 12. But it is always good to use your calculator to say negative 7 minus 5. This is minus 12 there. I'll always encourage you to use your calculator. Now when you've done that, you need now to solve for x. At this point, you need to divide both sides by what you don't want, which is your negative 2 on both sides, and then you are able now to say my x is equal to, again I will encourage you to use a calculator, where you are saying negative 12 over negative 2, and the answer is 6 that you're getting there. So the negative cancels, and then 2 into that, that's why you're getting a 6. So the answer to this particular question was x is equal to 6. Now, how do you usually prove it? Such equations, you can actually check if your answer is correct by substituting into the original. So where there is x, if you can take it from there, where there is x, you put your 6. So you're saying 2 into 6, because that's the value we get, and 6 minus 1 minus 2 into 6 squared plus 5, and then let us see what it will give us in this case. So in actual fact, it must give us minus 7. So let us see with the calculator what it will give us. So if I say 2 into 6, and then I've got 6 minus 1 minus 2 into 6 squared plus 5. Now it's minus 7. So I've got minus 7 is equal to minus 7. So what does it mean? If it means the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So when you test like this, it means then your value for x and you're solving for x, in this case it is correct. So that is what you do, but remember, this you do not show in your answer book. It is just something that you can do on your rough piece of work, whereby you just want to verify if your answer was correct. Now let us look at 4.1.2, and this question here, you are still solving for x and you were getting 4 marks for this particular question. And then it is given to say, if I can again make my space a little bit bigger, it says 5 over x minus 1 is equal to, 5x over 3 minus 1 is equal to x plus 5. Now when you are given this question, it is fractions. And how do you work with fractions? The best thing for you to work with fraction is to have a fraction on one side. So for me to do that, let me take minus 1 to jump the equal sign, and I want it to join with 5. So that I will have 5x over 3 is equal to x plus 5. Now the negative 1, when it jumps, it becomes a positive, it is plus 1. So what I've done is I have managed to remain with a fraction on my left hand side. So you will see why I want to remain with a fraction on the left hand side, such that I have 5x over 3 is equal to, now 5 plus 1, it is 6. So I'll have x plus 6. So when I've done that, now since I've got a fraction on one side, I can also make x over 1 so that I can have a fraction also on the right hand side. So that is why I wanted to have a fraction on one side and a fraction on the other side. I will show you the second method of doing this, but when you have done this, you can do what we call cross multiplying. In cross multiplying, you multiply like that, and then you multiply like that. So when you cross multiply, you are saying 1 times 5x. In this case, remember, that's why I said you must make a fraction on the right hand side and a fraction on the left hand side. So when you multiply, you are saying 1 times 5x is equal to 3 and then times x plus 6. So that's what you mean when I said you need to cross multiply. Now 1 times 5x is simple 5x is equal to, then you expand this 3x, 3 will multiply the x, and the 3 will also multiply the 6. So it is 3x plus 3 times 6, it will give you 18. When you have done that, you are then going to collect like terms, whereby the 3x will join the 5x and it will cross the equal sign, changing from positive to negative. So it will be 5x minus 3x is equal to, at this stage now you have 18. Now 5 minus 3 is 2. So 2x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 2. And when you're solving for x, it will give you, therefore your x is 2. 18 divided by 2, it will give you an answer of 9. So that is the value of x in this case. And how do we prove that? So if I can quickly prove it. So proof, where there is x, I'm going to put a 9. So you've got 5 into 9 over 3 minus 1. It is equal to 9, where there is my x, plus 5. So now 9 plus 5 is 14 on this side. Just to check again, 9 plus 5. 9 plus 5, it is 14. Now let us do the other side, which is 5 into 9 over 3. and then it's minus 1. So that is my left hand side. I'm getting also a 14. So you can see now that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So in this case, it therefore means that the answer or the value of x being 9 is then correct. So that was one part. And then I say to you, there is a second method that you could have done. Let me take it from here. If I can take it directly from there, whereby we had 5x over 3 is equal to x plus 6. So one other method you could have done was for you to get rid of this particular fraction, that is 3, by multiplying both sides by 3. So you could have said times 3, and then even here you say times 3. But when you say times 3, remember what you do on the left, you do on the right. You need to put a bracket and protect this positive sign here. When you do that, you can then cancel that, so that you've got 5x is equal to, now this 3 will affect the 6 and the 3 will affect the x, so it is 3 times x, which is 3x, and it is 3 times 6, which is 18. And when you have done this, you solve it like we did when we were solving for x, and our answer will take us back to say x is equal to 9. So that is another method that you could have done for you to solve that. There are quite a number of methods actually you could have used to solve this particular question, but the one that I've just shown you are one of the simpler versions or simpler methods that you could have applied. Someone could have even applied this method whereby you collect like terms from this point, whereby you're going to say 5x over 3, then you take x to the other side and you take 1 to the other side, so it will be minus x is equal to 5 plus 1. And then from here you are able then to in this case you are able to add your fractions. This requires you to know your fractions. Remember, this is over 1, so the common whenever you are adding the fraction here, it is equal to, so you have got your 5x over 3. You can make the same denominator, you multiply by 1 over 1. I will encourage you therefore for the addition of fractions. You can always refer to my lesson on fractions. This is minus x over 1, then it's times 3 over 3. So when you do that, you are going then to say 5x times 1, which is 5x over 3, minus x times 3, which is 3x over 3. Therefore, remember, this is equal to 5 plus 1 is 6, and here 5 plus 1 is 6. Now when you have done that, you can now add your fraction, which is 5x minus 3. In this case, it is 5x minus 3x is equal to 6. Now what is 5x minus 3x? Here you will get now 2x over 3 is equal to 6. Then it's up to you how you solve it. Again, like we did last time, you can multiply by 3, you can multiply by 3 so that this goes, and then you will be now having, in this case, 2x. Now 6 times 3 is 18. You divide by 2 on both sides such that you now get your value of x to say x is equal to 9. So there were quite a number of ways that you could have done to simplify that. Now let us look at question number 4. 4.2 says on this question says it is a word problem. Sometimes students usually struggle when it comes to word problems. I hope you'll be able to check out how I work this one. It says half of a certain number subtracted from 13 equals 5. Determine the number. It is 3 marks, this question, and it wasn't as complicated as such. It just needed you to be able to follow what the statement was saying. So let us start by looking at what the statement is saying. The statement is saying here half of a certain number, so there is a certain number. Let's call that particular number x because we don't know the number, and then half means 1 over 2, that is half, or 0.5, but it's better to work with fractions as 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 of is same as times, so 1 over 2 times x, which is our certain number, and then it says subtracted means a negative sign, and then the key word where they wanted to catch you there was from, and then it's from 13 equals is an equal sign, and then it's equals 5. So which means you must subtract this half of a certain number from 13. The moment they say from 13, it means you must start with 13. So it says determine the number. So from 13 means we must say 13, and then say subtracted 13 minus half of that number. 13 minus half of x is equal to 5. That's why they said half of a certain number, which is x, subtracted from 13, which is that. Then the next thing for you to do is to solve for x. And how do you solve for x? You can take 13 to join 5, so that you have got minus 1 over 2x is equal to 5 minus 13. Then we've got minus 1 over 2x is equal to, now if you say 5 minus 13, you can see I rely on the calculator to avoid errors in this case, which I will also encourage you to do, which is negative 8. Now it's up to you how you want to solve it. You can literally divide everything here by negative 1 over 2 on the left hand side, negative 1 over 2 on the right hand side, if you don't want some confusions, so that at this stage you will then have your x in this case is equal to, so it is, you put a fraction, you say minus 8, you play down, and that is where you enter another fraction, which is a negative 1 over 2. Then you get the answer of 16. So x is equal to 16. Now I want you to avoid this part where students make error when there is 3 fractions. They press a fraction and they press another fraction, and so it will be like minus 8 over 1 over negative 1 over 2. You will see that the answer, when you do that, it becomes a different answer. You see that it's now keep becoming a 4. So what you need to do is to press a fraction, say minus 8, then play down, that is where there is a half, or to be safe you say minus 8 over negative 0.5, because half is negative 0.5. You can see that it gives you a 16 here. Or alternatively, one way you could have also solved it is saying minus 1 over 2x is equal to negative 8. You can now multiply this side by negative 2 over 1, again here by negative 2 over 1. That is a reciprocal of x, whereby the 2 will cancel the 2, the negative will also neutralize the negative, and then you will have x is equal to, now it's like you're saying minus 8 times negative 2, and the answer there becomes 16. So that is how you could have got that number. So that is how you could have solved these word problems, and you'll get your full marks. Now let us look at the next question, and I think this was the last part of the question. As you can see, we have got 13 marks. It means question 4 was out of 13. Now question 4.3 says you are given s is equal to that. Now it says change the subject of the given formula to a. So this question was 3 marks, and it is a question that involves changing the subject of the formula. So if you can look at this question, you are given that. If I can try to make it a little bit bigger. Yes, it does fit in my screen. So now we are given this particular question. S is equal to n over 2a plus L, and I'm supposed to make a, in this case, in this formula, a the subject of the formula. So if I can write again my question, it says S is n over 2a plus L. Now, the first thing that I need to take care of is the fraction part. And the fraction part, as you can see, I've got a 2 at the bottom, and I need to get rid of this 2. And the way to do that, I can multiply that by 2 here. But what I do on the left, what I do on the right, I must also do on the left. So it's like I'm multiplying by 2 over 1, which is same as 2. Why? Because I want to get rid of this particular 2 like that. So when I multiply by 2, it's no longer s, now it's 2 times s, which is 2s is equal to n and a plus L. So you can see that it is better now to work, remember this is an s, it is better now to work with everything being flat without the fraction part. Now I'm interested in making a the subject of the formula. So because n is multiplying, I can actually divide both sides by n, divide there by n, so that I can simple have now 2s over n is equal to a plus L. When I've done that, the L can jump the equal sign, so I've got 2s over n minus, because it was positive, it became a negative, minus L is equal to a. So this is how I could have managed to make my a the subject of the formula. But what is interesting, another person can come from this stage here, and say, let me rewrite it down. It was 2s before you divide it by n. It was 2s is equal to n, and I had a plus L like this. So another person can say, I want to expand first where the a and the n multiplies, and that this is still correct. You can expand, and when you expand, you are going to have 2s is equal to an plus al. So let's go to start with the in alphabetical order. A starts before n and a starts before l. Now when you have done that, you are able then to say, remember you are interested in making in actual fact, I think this was not going to work, because remember you are supposed to make a the subject of the formula. So I think this was actually going to, let me see, I think here I'm the one who's making an error here. Okay, this is still gonna work. Remember, it's a times n and then n times l. I thought there were two a's now, so this is still correct. You have got an and al. When you have done that, you are able now to, the aim is to make a the subject of the formula. You are able to take this part of it to the other side, and when you do that, you are going to have 2s minus nl. In this case, it is equal to an. At this stage, you can then divide by n on both sides, and then such that you have got 2s minus nl over n is equal to a. So you can see that it was actually, there were different ways of solving this particular question. You can move on to say n into 2s. So when you separate it, it will be 2s over n minus nl over n is equal to a. Now the n and the n, they will cancel, so that you have got 2s over n minus L is equal to A. Now you can see therefore that this part is the same answer that we managed to get in the other side. You can see that it simplifies later to the same part, but your answer here, if you left your answer like that and you left your answer like that, they were still going to mark all of you correct. So this is how you could have approached that. I hope this was of benefit to you. Remember to subscribe to our channel or to press the like button if ever you benefited from this lesson. We have come to the end of our lesson. Thank you.